Welcome to the bold analysis. The new cryptocurrency currency named the Worldcoin has hit Kenya and spread like bushfire. But the number of people that have turned up or have showed up for that registration before its suspension is the reason why government also raised eyebrows. Questions are being raised on how this is thriving. It is an exercise that has been touted as an exercise of data harvesting under the Worldcoin project. It has pushed government to the corner just in the face of artificial intelligence age. We're in the new age of artificial intelligence. And the Kenyans raised questions about that whole exercise, the safety of the data being collected. And apart from the safety of the data, they also talked about whether it is safe for one company, a private company, to own private data, such huge data of people from a country. So allegedly, the plan is to come up with one currency and probably, they're saying it will be one way of identifying, or even people be able to log to websites, apps and phone apps without keying in your biometrics as normally the passwords and all that. Now, I have taken time to look at the BBC on how BBC has been reporting this. Now, the BBC reported that the caution, because the government has been asking Kenyans to take caution, not to take the risk of giving their own data. But BBC interviewed Kenyans that were queuing in different places. And one of the things that came out in the BBC report is that Kenyans do not care about security of themselves, their country, or their private data, so long as money is going to be given. So the people that went there simply for the money, and that is what BBC, that is the angle that BBC pursued. The vulnerability of the population to uptake such an exercise without asking any question or without introspection is what has exposed our underbelly as a country. And this is where you blame Mr. Politician. According to BBC, Worldcoin chose Kenya because Kenya is the first country in the continent here, in the African continent, to launch the platform because it's already having, it's Kenya that the Bitcoin is booming tech space, and Kenya have more than 1 million Kenyans registered under crypto. So in Africa we are leading, and that is why they chose Kenya. The founder, Mr. Altman, who founded it, he says that initiative will help to confirm if someone is a human or a robot. He also says that this could lead to everyone being paid a universal basic income, but it's not yet clear. Is it a bit of a marketing strategy, or is it some research going on? And BBC has made it very clear from their report that apart from vulnerability, there is a high probability of the Kenyan government just became gullible, and the system, or rather the entrepreneurs, penetrated it. By the way, you understand it has been banned in US, but other African countries it was already launched. There's some 4 questions that raise a lot of suspicion. 3 questions. Number 1, the operations of the Worldcoin were based at KICC. KICC is a government installation, And so if this is an investor from US or from whatever country, KICC is a government installation where it houses offices for ministers and MPs and even some parastatals. How did a private investor from US come from nowhere and all of a sudden even get a premise in KICC? And for you to get a premise in KICC to stage your operations there, of course, that is the center of government watch. So how could this work without the knowledge of the government structure? Look at the location, KICC. You try going to even think about getting an office around KICC, even in KICC. I'm telling you, it's not very easy. So just in the virtue of those who are interested in it, the way it was located, it points out that some deeper hands are in it. Number two, if the tech company founded by Sam Altman was banned in the US, if it is not in US, then what is the criteria of us even doing a background research? I want to agree that within the context of the law, maybe no one has breached any law. But do we do a background of it? Why did US ban it? And why then it is Kenya? Lastly, there was a cash reward. I don't know if it's a cash reward or I don't know how to describe, but a money that if you go through your eye scan, after your iris is scanned, you're supposed to get some 7,000 shillings. Probably that is what has been said. Now, where do you get that money? What is the model of that investment? In business, are you giving giveaways or is it philanthropy? Or what exactly is the rationale of the 7,000? Why not 2,000? Because the question here is, how many people are you targeting that you even had a reward of 7,000? Did they wonder that if you just call people and say you're just giving your data, we're doing this and it's 1,000, people won't come? Or what was the target of putting it at 7,000? I'm not saying 7,000 is more. But why is the cash reward? If it is just something that's just taking minutes, then someone is done. Now, government has been sending mixed signals about it. CS Owalo is contradicting Kithure Kindiki. Kithure Kindiki, and I tend to believe him more, he suspended it in the context of it can breach security. They're looking at legality and whether it can pose threat to the security of the country, which is his docket. But ICT, which is the ministry where the Office of the Data Protection falls in, is saying that as things stand now, the Bitcoin entrepreneurs have not breached any law. To some extent, he's being protective, but Kithure Kindiki is saying, I'm trying to interrogate. We are going to suspend it, we interrogate it whether it falls within the law. Truth be said, this is what is happening. Government knew very well of the existence and the business and the ideals of Bitcoin. We have intelligence. No one can just come from a foreign country and pitch camp in a very serious government installation as KICC and start harvesting data of Kenyans, and that happens for nearly like 1 week and without intelligence raising an alarm, if it is not something that they know. Government officials gave nod to it, either by default, and it cannot be by coincidence. Either they were bribed or they were bribed. If it is something wrong, whether it is wrong or bad, of course that is something that is very controversial. It is very clear that government cannot play victim card on the population, that they are also victims. They also want to behave as if we don't know, we are yet to find out, We are investigating. They cannot be victims. They know. And let me tell you, William Ruto administration is struggling with dry pockets. See, bottom up was to put money in people's pocket. Tell me, if this entrepreneur would go and tell William Ruto that every person, tell government that every person that will go through this scan will get 7,000, do you think government will decline? No. Why? They want people to have money in the pocket, because that's also one of the ways of easing political tension. So with that money reward, and if one person who is going through the eye scan is getting 7,000, tell me, this company means it's moneyed, and then any other person that is supposed to give certification for that, to approve that business, how much can he or she be given? Let's be very honest. So that's why we opened it. They supported it. They know what it is. And the intention was to let Kenyans get some money. Yeah, because there is some money. Irrespective of the data question. It's not all of a sudden that they've realized that thing is going on, because it happened for them. In fact, the suspension is just a money fleecing. It's just a scheme to fleece money from these investors. Or probably they gave them like 1 week, and after 1 week, you do it. After they raise questions, we'll then suspend it. It's either of the two. Either it's being suspended temporarily so that these people can go back to negotiate on a negotiation table and negotiate more, number one, or number two, they've achieved the target. And that is how it was designed, that the only way that we are going to end is by suspension. Lastly, the update of people falling for that Worldcoin project, oblivious of the data insecurity, or rather even insecurity of the country, is the raw manifestation of joblessness. Kenyans are jobless. Tomorrow, even if you will tell someone that I want 10 people to remove their clothes here, then everyone who removes the clothes, I'm going to give them 10,000. Then I'm telling you, people are going to line up, even if it's during the day, so that they can get that money. It shows to the government the level of not desperation, but our poverty index. In fact, one of the reasons why these Worldcoin guys chose Kenya is because of our poverty index. They realized we will take it, because it's money, we will take it. Know the psychology. That's it. So my point is clear. I think they need to come clear. Kenya Kwanza need to come clear on this. This confusion between Owalo and Kindiki is by design. They're talking from two different sides of the mouth, but and of course we knew under one government policy, probably Radiomaisha should come and give us a statement. But on this one, they cannot play victim with the public. They know this cannot happen out of the blues.